Hello, this is Mike again. I am back today to make a quick little video by the lake about self-love, of course. The most important thing to connect with your higher self. I wanted to share, I want to call this video Opening Stargates to Self-Love, or Self-Love Stargates to your higher self. And what I wanted to talk about was just some simple little affirmations or prayers about truly accepting yourself and honoring yourself as holy and divine and as a creation of your higher self. Because self-love does not need to be complicated. It really doesn't. And it's the most direct way to feel the support and the emotional support of your higher self directly. No matter if, you're someone that experiences visions or clairaudience or clairsentience or whatever. Self-love is just a direct universal language to always recognize that your higher self is always supporting you. But to do that, you have to see yourself the way your higher self sees you. And as you do that, you can truly align to your higher self and realize that you are your higher self. But you have to acknowledge and celebrate and love yourself the way your higher self loves you to realize it. And so, of course, the most basic Stargate, self-love Stargate to your higher self is you can say, I love you. I love you. However, you can take it so much deeper and make it so much more meaningful and passionate, where you could say, I love you with all I am. That's a more expansive, deeper expression of I love you. Or maybe you could say, you speak to your heart and say, you are everything to me. That's a fun one. Your inner child, the innocence in your heart, wants to feel safe and feel held. So some more great ones that I use are, I am always here for you, or I am always here to hold you. And it's fascinating whenever you start to explore these statements deeply, because you're learning to say to yourself the things that you have always wanted to hear from other people. However, it's really liberating to realize that you can give yourself these gifts. Other people don't have to do it for you. And of course, it's not bad for other people to do it. But you could become dependent on that for other people's support and validation and love. And that just reminds me of one of my favorite quotes is, you can only meet others as deeply as you've met yourself. So a powerful practice of self-love and communion with your higher self prepares you to meet others as their higher self. So some other self-love Stargates that I love are, let's see, you are my greatest fantasy. Isn't that a good one? Just imagine like how much of a complete opposite that is to what most people think about themselves. about just like dreading being themselves and worrying and blaming themselves and regretting what you do. If you are your greatest fantasy, all the chains have been broken. That's just how your higher self sees you. And when you become your higher self, that's how you see yourself. To be your own greatest fantasy. And the other one in that same style I love is I am my own wildest dream come true. Or you are my wildest dream come true. It's fascinating because you can word it as if you are, like in real time, your higher self speaking to your human self, and say, you are my wildest dream come true. Or you could speak as your individual self to your individual self, which is becoming your higher self, and say, I am my own wildest dream come true. I am my wildest dream come true. It's all just like this house of mirrors with perspectives of who you are all bouncing around. You can be your higher self, you can be your human self, you can be your inner child, you can be your cosmic self, the higher self that is all higher selves is one. And that's just the magic of the universe, is everyone shares the same divine consciousness. Humanity is a divine race. And that's what the work is right now in the world, is realizing that all we have to do to reclaim our power and our sovereignty as our higher self is to speak to our human self and see our human self the way our divinity sees us. And so you can say to yourself, so all the time, I love you. I love you with all I am. I am always here for you. I love you exactly the way you are. You can do nothing wrong. I'm always here for you. You are my greatest fantasy. You are my greatest dream, wildest dream come true. And a couple more self-love stargates before I go is you are a living miracle. That's a good one. Isn't that just the most incredible thing to think about? All the cells in your body, all working together. All of the patterns of memory and intellect and emotion that propagate through the mind and neurons as consciousness being projected through the brain. All the cells working together. And your body as a cell in the earth, and the earth as a cell in the galaxy, and the galaxy as a cell in the universe, and the universe as a cell in the totality of all universes and all creation. And you are a microcosm of that. You're a living miracle. Your consciousness recognizing itself. And the last self-love stargate I'll share before we end is, I always close my self-love prayers with, it is, I behold the glory of God within you. And I see all of creation as myself. Isn't that great? Whenever you behold the glory of God within you, that means you are recognizing yourself as your higher self, as a creation of light, as a being created in the exact image and likeness of the divine. And the only thing you have to do to realize that and live as that is to love yourself the way your higher self loves you. And it's so simple, but we make it so complicated. And you don't have to prove yourself to yourself with all your ideas about what you have to do as a career or as a person or finding relationships. All that stuff is great, but your higher self is already completely whole and complete. And it just waits for you to recognize yourself as that. And with that, I believe the video is just about ready to be completed. I hope this brought a sense of just how simple it is to connect to your higher self through practice of self-love, which just bypasses all of the spiritual ego ideas about being spiritual or having to have visions or whatever to connect to your higher self. Everyone experiences their higher self differently, and self-love is the common thread that allows everyone to connect to their higher self no matter where they're at, and to feel that they are whole and complete, free, sovereign, and divine, and invincible, exactly the way you are. And that is how you can stay grounded and sealed in the Holy Spirit of your higher self in this crazy world, where that's a whole another video to talk about. Viral programming of the mind. Everyone's fighting for control of your sovereign choice to know what's best for you. Wear a mask, stay at home, do this and do that. So many people aren't able to have any sense of what's right or wrong for them, that they just submit their authority to the news or whatever, like, oh, they know what's best for me. They definitely don't know what's best for you. So a practice of Christ's self-communion within you will teach you what's best for you. And only your higher self knows what's best for you. And your only job to connect to that is creating an authentic practice of passionate self-love. And no matter how awkward it feels at first, you can just melt into conscious unity with the light of the Holy Spirit within you. And Mother Earth is an amazing teacher to be guided in how to do that. That's why I am by the lake currently. And so I encourage you to get out into nature, stay grounded, love yourself like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. And with that, I thank you for watching, and I hope that you feel a little bit, or maybe a whole lot closer to your higher self now. You guys have a blessed day. Goodbye.